In this lesson, we are going to start a new topic which is called percents. Now, a percent is just a normal fraction, but there is a big difference between this fraction with the other fractions is that the denominator for percent is always 0. For instance, 8%, which is denoted by 8 and then a percent sign, is the same as 8 divided by 100, and if you divide 8 by 100 you are going to get the decimal form, which is 0.08. So every time you see a percent sign after a number, this means that number is divided by 100, and then you can use your calculator and you can find the decimal equivalent. Now, the 8% here is called the percent form. The 8 over 100 is called the fraction form. And 0.08 is called the decimal form. In the first example, we are supposed to write 75% as a fraction and as a decimal. To write 75% as a fraction, we just write the number 75 and then write divided by 100. This is called the fraction form. To write it as a decimal number, either you can use a calculator or just remember 75 is really like 75.0000. Doesn't matter how many zeros you are having after the decimal point. But since you are dividing by 100, if you remember, you are going to move the decimal point 1 and 2 units to the left. So this becomes 0.75. We call 0.75 as the decimal form, and we call 75 over 100 as the fraction form. The next example is 130%. To write it as a fraction form, I'm just going to write 130 divided by 100. This is my fraction form. To write it as a decimal point, again, remember 130 is the same as 130.0000, doesn't matter how many zeros. And then because I'm dividing it by 100, I move this decimal point 2 units to the left. This becomes 1.30. And this is called the decimal form. The next example is to write each of these fractions as a percent and as a decimal. 2 over 5. This is the fraction form. To write this one as a decimal, first we are going to talk about percentage. To write this one as a percentage, remember that the denominator, which is 5 here, has to become 100. Either you can use calculator. Probably calculator is the easiest way to do it. So divide 2 by 5. If you divide 2 by 5, you are going to get 0.4. So this is the decimal form. So we say that 2 over 5 is the same as 0.4, which is the decimal form. Now to change this one to a percentage, you just multiply 0.4 by 100. So multiply 0.4 by 100, you are going to get 40. This one is your percentage. So 2 over 5, which is the fraction form, is 0.4 in decimal form, which is 40% in percentage form. So use your calculator, find the decimal, and then multiply the decimal by 100 and put a percent sign after the number. The next example is 5 over 2. So to change this one, as we said before, to decimal form, use your calculator, divide 5 by 2, So 5 divided by 2 is going to give us 2.5. So we say the decimal form of fraction 5 over 2 is 2.5. Now multiply 2.5 by 100, you get 250, and then put a percent symbol after that. So 5 over 2 in fraction form is the same as 2 over 2.5 in decimal form, which is the same as 250% in percentage form. The next example is to write 0.83, which is the decimal form, as a percent and as a fraction. First of all, 0.83, if you look at the decimal point, it's 2 digits to the left. So this means that this is the same as 83 over 100. Or another way to put this one is that 0.83 times 100 is 83, and then you put 100 in the denominator. So, but 83 over 100, as we did before, this is the percentage representation. So this is equal to 83%. So if you get a decimal value multiplied by 100, whatever number you get, like 83 divided by 100, this is going to be the fraction form. And then since the denominator is 100, the percentage form is the numerator. So it's 83%. The next example is 12.94. So this is the decimal form. To change it to a fraction form, I multiply this by 100, I get, move the decimal 2 places to the right, I get 1294. So the fraction form is 1294 over 100. This is a fraction form. And since the denominator is 100, this is the same as 1294%. Remember, percent is division by 100, which is going to be 1294 over 100, which is the fraction form. And if you use your calculator and divide 1294 by 100, you get 12.94. The next example, which is a word problem, says that Fred has 8 out of 10 on a test. Janet got 82% on the test. Who did better and how do you know? I cannot compare 8 out of 10 with 82%. It's like comparing apple with oranges. I have to change both of them in the same unit. So the best way to do it is to change 8 out of 10 to a percent. This means that Fred got 8 over 10. Now, to change this one to a percentage, as we did before, we are going to divide 8 by 10 using the calculator and then multiply it by 100. So 8 over 10 is 0.8. If I multiply 0.8 by 100, I get 80. And then I put a percent beside it. So it's 80%. Now if I compare 80% and 82%, it's obvious that 82% is better than 80%. So this means that Janet did better in the test than Fred.